My name is Cameron Lawrence, and today we are kicking off our season-long series of buy low and sell high. We're going to be bringing it to you each and every week, and I am so excited for it. Last year, we would have been telling you to sell guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire and to buy guys like Derrick Henry after week one, so we're hoping to do the same again this year. But since we're doing this every single week, you need to turn on those notifications and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single chance to be able to better your team this season. And to kick it off, we are going to start with one of my favorite buy lows in Jahmyr Gibbs. And if you've been following our channel, you probably knew this was coming. I have been all over Jahmyr Gibbs all offseason. And week one, Gibbs had 7 attempts for 42 rush yards, 2 receptions on 2 targets for 18 yards. And the two stats that you're hoping that your league mates are looking at are to see that he only had 8 fantasy points for a running back 36 finish, and he had a 29% snap share. That is what you're going to have to pitch your league mate when you want to go and acquire Gibbs, because he was the most explosive player on the field, and it was not close. He looked way better than David Montgomery at any point. He averaged nearly 5 yards after contact and averaged almost 6 yards per carry with multiple plays over 15 yards. And he very well could have had a 15-point night if he didn't trip over his own feet on the end zone. He was so fast that his own feet can't even keep up with him at times. It is just crazy. But I know what you're going to say, and you're hoping this is what your league mates are thinking. He was barely on the field, and David Montgomery had 21 carries, and both are correct. But first off, Dan Campbell told us this would happen. He said before the game they are going to ease Gibbs in, and he stuck to his word. Even when Gibbs broke off big runs, even when he was looking dynamic, they took him off the field because that was the game plan, and they stuck to it. And second, we always thought this entire offseason that Monty was going to get more carries. We thought that this was going to be comparable to DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams of last season. We didn't think it was going to be the exact same, obviously. That's why we were higher on Jahmyr Gibbs, but we did think it was going to be comparable. And CMC, Alvin Kamara, James White, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, and Tony Pollard have all had top 10 finishes without leading their team in carries. So we know that this is possible, and we know that Gibbs is going to be able to make up for these lack of carries because of the explosiveness that he possesses, his ability to work in the receiving game. He split out wide multiple times during the game. That is something we are excited to see. This is his floor, not his norm. Our first sell high is also a running back in a split backfield, and it is Tyler Allgeier. And you know what? I'll just say this as an overarching theme for everybody, because otherwise I'm going to be, saying this for every single player. You're looking for guys who are people in your league who are strictly looking at fantasy points. You want to find the player who goes, man, Tyler Allgeier, 24 fantasy points. I really like that. I want a piece of that. You're not looking for the guys who are looking at these underlying factors like we are right now. And with Allgeier, you are also trying to find the manager who was out on Bijan, who said, I don't want a rookie running back. I don't believe that he is as good as they say. That's the guy you want, because when they see the 15 attempts for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns with 3 more receptions stat line, they're going to think that looks really good. And I want to be clear. I want to be very clear with this. I am not telling you to offer Tyler Allgeier for Nick Chubb just because Allgeier scored more points in week one. I am telling you to make a realistic offer. And even more realistically than that, I'm telling you to probably package him with another wide receiver to upgrade somewhere else, or another running back to upgrade somewhere else. Selling low and buying high does not, or selling high and buying low, don't want to do the opposite, does not mean that you should be giving garbage offers. You still need to send a decent offer. And do I think that Tyler Allgeier could still have a pretty decent season? I do. I think if he's on your waivers, you should go pick him up. I think that he'll have probably a couple games here or there, 2-3 games where he'll score 20 fantasy points again. I think he'll be able to have those spike weeks, but I don't think it's going to be the norm, and that's what we need to realize with these sell high guys. is that this is not the norm. This can happen. It's obviously in the range of outcomes, but that doesn't mean that we should be holding on to them, hoping this happens every week. We should sell high and get back a guy who can be more consistent at a higher level. And if you watch the entire game for Tyler Allgeier, you know that A, this team is not going to be able to dominate the way that they dominated the Panthers in this one and only have to throw the ball 18 times. And B, you know that Bijan is the better back. You know that when it comes down to it and they need to throw the ball more, they're going to have Bijan out there. And especially as the season continues to go on, Robinson is going to continue to get more carries. My buy low number 2 is Javonte Williams, who finishes the running back 29. And no, there's no real crazy underlying stat here. I'm not telling you average 5 yards after contact. I'm not telling you that he had 6 yards per carry. However, the fact that he had the majority of the carries answers some big questions that we had in the offseason about his health. We were wondering, is he going to be ready to go? How are they going to ease him in? Is Samaje Perine going to get more work than Javonte? And while they did split right down the middle, Javonte and Samaje Perine, the reason is because there was a lot of third down snaps in this. Javonte was the clear, in a way, early down back, and Samaje Perine came in on clear passing downs. He also came in mainly for third down work. But another exciting thing for Javonte is even though Samaje is their receiving back, Javonte Williams still saw 6 targets in this game. He still had 4 catches, and it's going to be a big part of his game moving forward. So, what are you trying to get, or what are you trying to trade somebody to get Javonte Williams? That's what you're wondering. That's the big question around this, right? If I say buy low, sell high, you're like, okay, that's great. I'm supposed to buy low on Javonte Williams, but what am I going to give for him? Well, you're not going to give up another, I'm not telling you to give up Derrick Henry, but I do think that there is just 2 things that we should look at in a buy low. Does this person have a positional weakness? Are they short on wide receivers, short on running backs? Can I offer them 2 running backs for 1 running back? Can I offer them a wide receiver for a running back and try to get a deal done that way? And so if they do have that positional advantage, then maybe you're looking to give them a wide receiver. And that leads me right into my next player, which is sell high on Michael Pittman. He brought in 8. He saw 11 targets, brought in 8 of them for 97 yards. I do have to acknowledge, just had a huge cloud come over, changed my entire lighting, just threw me off there. I'm sorry for stumbling over that, but let's just get back into it. If you did notice the shift in the room, that was what it was. Florida during the day can get a little wild on us. However, so like I said, Pittman, 11 targets, brought in 8 of them for 97 yards and a touchdown. I have been lower personally on Pittman all season long, and I don't see this being his norm moving forward. Richardson hyper-targeted him, and now that defenses have seen it, they're going to look to take away Pittman. They saw, Richardson wasn't incredibly accurate, right? He threw the ball 37 times and only had 220 yards. Let's try and take away the guy that he wants to go to in every situation. I do think, like Allgeier, that Pittman will have an all right season. I do think I may have been a little low on Michael Pittman. I will concede to that after week 1, after seeing the way that Richardson was throwing him the ball. But what I don't think is that this is going to be the norm. I don't think that all of a sudden Pittman is going to be this top 15 guy with Anthony Richardson. I'm thinking of guys like Deontay Johnson last year with Kenny Pickett, right? It was really disappointing. He saw a lot of targets, but there were just times where wasn't that connection that you're hoping for. I do think that Pittman's one saving grace this season is that Josh Downs is the only other wide receiver that saw more than 3 targets in this game, and Richardson threw the ball 37 times. But at the same time, I also don't believe that it is going to be their game plan to throw the ball 40 times a game unless it is extremely necessary. And in this game, it was, because they were fighting neck and neck, and they got down early against the Jaguars. So if you are a Michael Pittman believer, maybe you want to hold on to him. But if it's up to me, I'd rather try and cash in on a DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, or even a Keenan Allen. our final buy low, and I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. I'm going to say it's T. Higgins, but what I'm really talking about isn't the entire Bengals offense. Obviously, T. Higgins putting up the goose egg hurts. That's a stinger, and you're hoping that it's stinging whoever in your league had him. But the game was played in the rain, and it was Burrow's first game back. Higgins was always going to have some variability. You knew that coming in. We've seen that over the last 2 years with Jahmyr Chase. You were just hoping that it wasn't this extreme and that it wasn't this early, but it makes for a very good buy low. I also think that Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow fall into the category of buy lows after what we just saw, along with Jahmyr Chase, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. Who is trading Jahmyr Chase after 1 week where he scored 9 points? Very, very few people. But the Bengals team as a whole is going to be much better, and I think they'll show up to play against the Ravens in another divisional matchup this next week. I don't think they're going to end up having 2 stinkers in a row. And Higgins has put up back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 100 targets, and at least 6 touchdowns a year each year of his career. So we know what kind of wide receiver he is. We know who he is. He will be just fine. Mixon will continue to get opportunities, and he will be good. He should be a value at ADP. And Joe Burrow just got paid $275 million for a reason, so I think he'll be pretty good to go as well. If you can get your hands on any of these Bengals, I think you should do it. And finally, our last sell high is Cam Akers, and I know what you're thinking. Cameron, how can I sell high on 8.9 fantasy points? Well, you're really going to have to sell this one, but you can rest your hat on. He did score a touchdown, and he had 22 rush attempts. So that is going to be your selling point, and you are going to have to push that. But you're going to have to put your sales cap on. You're going to have to get those fingers to work, and you're going to have to be just like you're selling life insurance to a baby. You're going to have to get pretty crafty with this one. He was outsnapped 53-28 and while Kyren Williams didn't look great, he did look much better than Akers. This is a committee backfield, and Akers does not look like he's even going to be the better back of this committee. He averaged 1.3 yards per carry and only ran 4 routes in the game. There does not feel like there is a lot of upside for Cam Akers, and so the reason he is a sell high, right? There's not a lot of upside, so the reason we're going to sell high on him is because I'm worried this is the highest he's going to get. I'm worried that the fact that he had 22 attempts and a touchdown is the best that it's going to get all season long. And don't get me wrong, I'm still looking for a running back too. I'm still looking for a guy who is drafted between running back 12 and 25. I'm not giving him for a Roschon Johnson to get a fringe running back 3. The price has to be right, but at this point, you should be looking to move on from Cam Akers. Alrighty, guys, thank you for tuning in. We got the podcast dropping tomorrow. Lucas is coming up with some of his favorite picks for this week, some starts and sits, and then next week we'll be right back with it, so make sure you got those notifications on. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and I'm hoping that this helps you out for a victory this week. Let's go win some championships, and I'll see you later. Deuces.